It's been a pretty significant year in the Canadian credit card landscape so far, with many big changes that have impacted the way we earn and redeem points. Now, I feel like there's going to be more big changes yet to come before the end of the year, but right now, as the dust is settling a little bit, I wanted to revisit some of the primary strategies we have for maximizing points to travel the world. And in this video, I wanted to talk about something that's been on my mind recently. Perhaps it's been some of your minds as well about this primary strategy that we have here in Canada. You might call it a conundrum of sorts, the American Express membership rewards conundrum, and what exactly to do with your MR points, whether to use them for airlines or for hotels. In this video, I'll walk you through why this conundrum exists for many points collectors and what you can do about it, as well as my personal perspective on what to do with my points between airlines and hotels. So if that sounds good to you, go ahead and hit the like button down below just as the video is starting out, and let's get started. All right, what's this membership rewards conundrum that I'm talking about, and how did it come about? Well, it came about earlier this year when American Express decided to improve its flagship lifestyle credit card, the American Express Cobalt Card, and make the points transferable to airlines in addition to hotel partners. Now, obviously, this was a strictly positive change to the card, and it was much celebrated in the community, with credit card personalities like myself singing the praises of the Cobalt Card and doing electrifying thumbnails and stuff like that. Because previously, the Cobalt Card was already very strong for having the ability to earn 5 times the points and then transfer these points to hotel partners. And now that they were convertible to airline partners as well, the value proposition of the card only increased from there. With the Cobalt Card now earning 5 times the points on eats and drinks that can be transferred to airlines, this basically means now that any Canadian household that is savvy enough to purchase gift cards at the grocery store for other purchases that they would ordinarily make is now able to unlock business class flights at least once a year without necessarily having to pursue new credit card welcome bonuses at all. They can just spend regularly on their Cobalt Card, buying gift cards at the grocery store as necessary, maximize that $30,000 maximum allowance for the 5 times the points. That'll earn them 150,000 membership rewards points, which can be transferred to Aeroplan and used to book a round-trip business class flight to either Europe or Asia. All just by maximizing your regular spending without even having to pursue credit card bonuses. So obviously, this is a game changer for Canadian travelers who want to maximize their value from credit card points. But here's the problem. We no longer have an optimal way to earn huge quantities of hotel points now that Cobalt points can be transferred to airlines. Let me explain what I mean. In the past, when we were living in a world before Cobalt points could be transferred to airlines, the Canadian credit card strategy made a lot more sense in terms of both airlines and hotels, because we could take the high-value American Express cards like the Business Platinum and the Platinum Card and the TD and CIBC cards, often with first-year free offers, and rack up Aeroplan points very quickly, use them towards business class and first class flights, all while maximizing our Cobalt 5 times the points earnings towards Marriott Bonvoy and booking hotels this way. Everything was lined up very nicely. We had our airline point strategy, we had our hotel point strategy, and we could make progress towards both of these outcomes at the same time at similar paces. This way, we'd be able to aim towards booking a single trip, covering both of our flights with Aeroplan points and our hotels with Marriott Bonvoy points funded through our Cobalt cards, and then take this trip at a significant discount. But the strategy is less clear-cut now that Cobalt points can be transferred to airlines and arguably should be transferred to airlines instead of hotels because of the higher value that you can generally get from premium flight redemptions compared to your average hotel redemption. So therein lies the conundrum, because if you're maximizing the 5 times points on the Cobalt Card, as you should be doing, you have a choice. Do you transfer these points to airlines and capture a higher value when booking business class for your flights, but perhaps not be able to earn quite as many hotel points and have to pay cash for hotels instead? Or do you continue transferring these points over to Marriott Bonvoy and cover your free night stays, but knowing that they could have been used to fetch higher value instead through premium flight redemptions, but you're missing out on that potential value? There's not really a clear-cut answer here, and no matter which one you choose, you're bound to be wondering a little bit whether you would have been better off choosing the other option instead. So now that we've outlined this conundrum, let's talk about a few different ways that we can think about it and arrive at a resolution in terms of what to actually do with our membership rewards points. Do we put them towards airlines? Do we go with hotels? Or what's the correct split in between? And there's 2 opposing mindsets that we could take here. Again, neither of which is right or wrong. First of all, we could convert all our Cobalt points over to Aeroplan because that'll get us the higher value. And we'll basically think of it as racking up the Aeroplan points to cover this trip and the next trip and the next trip and the trip after that. But on the hotel side, having fewer points to use for hotels, maybe just the one-time welcome bonuses on the Marriott Bonvoy American Express cards, and for the rest of our accommodations, just paying cash or using other fixed value points currencies like Scotia Rewards or HSBC. On the other hand, we could adopt a different strategy of always trying to have enough points to cover our flights and our hotels for our next immediate trip without having to pay much cash out of pocket at all. So in this way, we would convert some of our Cobalt points over to Aeroplan to cover business class flights for the next trip, let's say, and then the rest of the Cobalt points we would transfer to Bonvoy to cover our hotel redemptions, even knowing that that conversion is at the cost of converting to Aeroplan to cover future high-value flights for future trips instead. We're looking to cover as much of our immediate costs as possible, knowing that we're sacrificing our potential future value in doing so. So those are kind of your two choices. Now go ahead, take a moment and comment below which of the two camps you are more likely to fall into. Have you left a comment? Good. Now let me share with you why I personally am very much leaning towards the first option of going all in on flights with my membership rewards points rather than Marriott Bonvoy and hotels, and why I think you should be doing the same. For me, it largely goes back to the sheer difference in value between the two options. With premium cabin flights, I know I'm getting spectacular value for my points because business class and first class cash fares is something that I would rarely pay for in the first place unless it was heavily discounted. On the other hand, if I'm redeeming points towards an average hotel in an average city, that's something that I probably would have been willing to pay for with cash in the first place because I do need a place to stay after all. And so it's not really a case of I'm using points towards something I'd never be willing to pay for with cash, whereas on the flight side, it's very much the case. And not only is there that gulf in value, but that gulf is actually getting wider and wider over time. The Aeroplan loyalty program, having relaunched last year, is one of the stronger loyalty programs out there that can ensure you're still getting high value for your points if you're aiming for those premium partner redemptions. But with hotels, we've heard virtually every hotel CEO, including Marriott's, come out and set expectations that the loyalty program is likely going to get less and less valuable over the foreseeable future. It's going to become more owner-friendly, but less guest-friendly, as Marriott's CEO put it himself. Now, these things are all cyclical, so they could change in the future, but for the next few years, expect hotel loyalty programs to get less valuable, not more. And so I don't think it's really worthwhile to concentrate most of our energy on the hotel side. Instead, it's the airline side that will guarantee high value for your points. So because of this ever-widening gulf in value, I would personally place a greater emphasis on the future value of flight redemptions, which is higher compared to the present value of hotel redemptions, which is lower, even though it's in the present. I would say earn enough Aeroplan points with your membership rewards points to cover at least 2 or 3 trips that you foresee yourself taking over the next year or so before you start covering hotel expenses outside of the super aspirational ones that you might be aiming for. Now, of course, there's also a counter argument here, which is, wouldn't it be better to use points to save money in the present rather than saving the points towards flights that may or may not take place in the future, and especially in a future when Aeroplan may or may not be devalued? That's a very valid argument, and that's why I'd say after earning enough Aeroplan points to cover your next 2 or 3 big trips, it's then okay to start transferring your MR points over to Bonvoy and start using them for some smart hotel redemptions too. Now at this point, you would be forgiven for feeling a little bit downbeat about the hotel game as a whole. If there's no real way to rack up the points optimally, and if the rewards in redeeming points is slipping away over time, what's really the point? Is it worth bothering with hotel rewards? And the answer is yes, but in a different way than just focusing on earning, transferring, and redeeming points. Instead, there's going to be a greater emphasis in the hotel game of searching for the best cash rates so that you save money when you stay at hotels and maximizing your return on those cash rates. At the same time, getting elite status and maximizing your elite benefits is going to be a big part of the hotel experience. And for Canadians, I see one very obvious solution to this hotel conundrum that's staring us right in the face that will help with all of these factors that I've just talked about, and that's getting into US credit cards, where there's a much wider range of hotel loyalty programs that we can participate in beyond just Marriott Bonvoy. There's the Amex credit cards with Hilton that also help you get Hilton top tier status. There's World of Hyatt through Chase credit cards and the Chase co-branded Hyatt card that also makes it easier to get Hyatt status and participate in that program. And with both of these programs, there's also many free night awards up for grabs that will help you subsidize the cost of staying at hotels beyond the single Marriott Bonvoy program that we're all familiar with. So overall, that's my take on the whole airline versus hotel conundrum that we now have here in Canada, thanks to the American Express Cobalt Card sprucing things up and making their points transferable to airlines. I would say that we previously had a very clear-cut basic strategy that would take care of both our airline and hotel needs at a good value very easily. However, now the airline strategy has gotten much stronger than it was before, and we should give that the celebration it deserves. But the hotel strategy has gotten comparatively a little bit weaker. And now it's all about going more advanced with things like US credit cards if we truly want to take our hotel game to the next level, or perhaps simply carving out the room in our travel budgets to pay for hotels and making our peace with that. Now, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the Prince of Travel YouTube channel. Just click the subscribe button below the video. And I'm really curious to hear whether you agree or disagree with my take. Are you somebody who's currently facing the conundrum of where to transfer your membership rewards points between airlines or hotels? Do you think the sheer value of airline redemptions should be prioritized like I do? Or are you somebody who would prefer to cover all of your hotel costs using your points, even if it is sacrificing future value on the airline side? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Have you left a comment? Have you left a comment? Have you left a comment? You need to be quiet for a bit. It's okay.